Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fulfillment Podcast, where we help discover a better you by finding fulfillment in life, relationships, and finance. I'm your host, Josh. In this episode, I want to talk about the understanding and the exception of patience, and really just being patient and allowing things to come into your life on the time that they're supposed to come in. Listen to a lot of stuff from, there's a guy named Aaron Doughty that talks a lot about the identity we build for ourselves and the timeline that we construct for ourselves and the vision of what we construct that we think things are supposed to happen in. And I think it's really important to understand kind of the depth of what he talks about and what he means, and the understanding of patience versus perfection, and just thinking that you're going to hit everything, you're going to make everything work out the way it was supposed to, the way you've envisioned it in your head, and understanding that that's not realistic. You got to be able to let go of things. I'm somebody that pushes myself to the brink. Like, I'm not kidding, like to the edge of where I'm supposed to be. And you can't always do that, right? You can't always become successful the way that you envision it, because there's a path and there's a track that we all take. We all take our own individual path when we're on this journey of how we're developing and growing and becoming that best version of who we are. And sometimes that means that it's not going to happen the way that you predicted that it was supposed to happen. Sometimes it's going to happen in its own way, on its own time, and you're just it's going to be the best way, but you're not going to necessarily know what that is or be able to predict what that is. And that's totally okay. And the reason I kind of wanted to bring this one up, because I have been in a place where after I got out of the Army, right, did this transition and started moving out, and that was all I knew, right? 10 years in the Army, nothing but Army. After I graduated high school, went straight to college and then commissioned and started doing like real active duty stuff. And it was it's hard losing that, because it's a sense of identity, right? If anybody has gone through a shift in careers or loss of family members or anything like that, you understand that a part of your identity is lost in moments and events like that. It's really what keeps us tied down at times too. You have this paradigm that you build for yourself, this version of who you are and the life that you're supposed to live, that you create as you grow up as a kid, to when you become an adult, you have all these decisions kind of made on who you're going to be. Are you going to be a rebel? Are you going to be somebody that falls in line? Are you going to be somebody that pursues doing something great? Or are you going to be somebody that, doesn't do it at all? We build these paradigms for ourselves, and we start to achieve things according to that paradigm. And we think that it has to happen in the time or in the space or with the people or in the events that we kind of like predict and build for ourselves. And one of that is just patience, right? It's the time that we think it's supposed to happen, or the magnitude that it's supposed to happen when it does. And that's not always the case. I definitely thought that when I first started growing businesses and stuff, that was going to be a time where I was just going to explode and I was going to do so well and it was going to validate all my decisions and everything I did was right. And I just listened to the other day, a quick podcast from something somebody sent me in a link. And it was basically talking to me and telling me what he was talking about in the show was saying, be patient. Just understand things are going to happen on their own time. You got to relax. You got to let it go. And it's almost like you have that art of flow, right? You have the Taoism in your life to where you know that in the back of your mind, it's going to work out. And it's going to work out on its own time. And it's not up to you to determine when that time is. It's up to you to just do your best every day. Pick 2 or 3 things that you're going to do that day that you're going to do it, and you're going to do it well, and you're going to do it right. And then over time, right, as you continue to do that and you continue to make these little adjustments and you continue to make these little successes every single day, over time, you're going to lead to this massive gain. And that's really kind of like what it all comes down to, right? Understanding that just be patient and allow it to work and allow the things to come into your life, almost living like you already have them. And by doing that, you will achieve what it is you're trying to achieve, but it's going to happen on its own time, because that's going to be the best way that it needs to happen to you or come to you. It's not going to be necessarily the way you think it's going to happen. I thought I was going to start right away. I was going to start making all sorts of big money, and then it was going to be like easy. Kind of. I mean, I kind of predicted it was going to be hard, but I didn't understand what hard meant in that context. Now, right, after going through it and seeing everything, I understand what it means when people are like, dude, it's fucking hard. Like, it ain't easy. Okay, well, what does that mean? Well, shit, now I get it, right? Now I kind of understand it doesn't happen the way you think it does. You have to be really, really, really patient. Just to give you an example, I invest in YouTube channels. So I have like 6 YouTube channels. I don't do any of the work. I don't voice over anything. I hired it out completely. So it's all just 100%. I pay content creators and editors and team managers and voiceover artists and all these people to do everything on these videos for these channels. And we just upload on a regular schedule every week. So we're just constantly uploading stuff. And then obviously once you get more views, you start getting ad revenue, and then that's how you start getting paid. Well, initially I saw this and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, what a great opportunity. Saw some other people having success with it, and I'm like, this is perfect. This is what I'm going to do. So I started to do it. And then it took time, and I didn't make any money at first. And I was just paying these people to create the videos for me. And then it kind of kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going. And it got to a point where I was like, holy smokes, I should be making money now, right? I see other people doing it. I see other people being successful with the same amount of time in. I see, similar niches and stuff. They're all making a similar amount of money. And I'm like, man, I've got the same amount of videos. I've got the same content. I've got the same stuff going on. Why are they making money right now? And I'm not making anything. And I kept comparing myself to them. Well, the trick is keep yourself in your own world, right? Focus on you, focus on yourself. And the best thing that's going to happen to you is going to happen when it needs to. Just keep going, right? I know I put out an episode that was like, just keep going. Well, it couldn't be any more real, because you just have to keep your head. You have to keep yourself focused on what the end state is, right? And what the goal is that you're trying to achieve. It may not be in the timeline that you think it's going to happen. It may not be the magnitude that you think it's going to happen, but it's going to happen to you in the best way possible, because you are doing everything you need to set yourself up for success. Now just believe you already have it. Just trust that it's there for you and it's going to work. And just know that. And as soon as you relinquish the control that you try and have over something, like genuinely in your heart, you believe that it's going to work and I don't need to do anything. I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, and this is the best thing. And I'm just going to keep plugging and doing the hard work and putting all the ingredients together and making it happen. And then eventually it's going to work. Like it will work on its time. I just need to keep plugging and trusting that the universe has got this whole thing figured out for you. Don't worry about it. It's not your job. Don't worry about this. It's already figured out. You just keep doing. You just keep doing the hard work and keep plugging along, and eventually it's going to figure itself out, and it's going to come to you when it needs to. And you have to trust that that's the case, and that's going to happen. It's very difficult to do. This is definitely where I struggle. This is where Josh has a hard time, is understanding that while I may predict and while I may think and while I may know all these great and wonderful things, may have it all figured out and know that the process is going to happen and all this stuff, right? It's difficult. It is not easy at all to do this kind of stuff, to take these leaps and to see other people be successful, and then to watch you're doing the same thing, but it may not be playing out the exact same way. And it's hard, right? It's very, very hard. And at some points you definitely want to give up. And I think that's where the successful people separate themselves from the unsuccessful people, is because the unsuccessful people are like, well, it worked for them. It's not going to work for me. I'm out. And they stop contributing, they stop growing, and they stop trying, and they stop doing all the things that they need to do to make it work. Whereas the successful people are like, it worked for them, it's going to work for me. I just need to keep going. I just need to keep plugging along, just keep trying, right? And this translates to anything. I'm thinking mostly on the business sense here, but you got to just keep going. And that's one of those things that makes the successful different from the unsuccessful. It's what makes the 99% different from the 1%. The 1% keep going. They trust themselves. They trust the universe. They trust their heart. They trust the decisions and stuff that they've made. When it feels right, it's going to be right. You have that weird, that little feeling in your gut when you make a decision and it either tells you good job or it's like, this doesn't feel right, right? That little decision, that little feeling inside your stomach, that is ultimately what's telling you if it's going to work or if it's not going to work. And you know this typically before you make any sort of decision on moving forward with something. You generally know. I can tell you there was a real estate deal that we made, and I did not have, I had a really good feeling about it, right? I had a really, really, really good feeling about it. Things kept getting in the way. Things kept turning us down. We kept coming into shortcomings. We kept coming into, all these different issues. And I sat there and I'm like, man, I still have a good feeling about this. I know it's hard, but I still have a good feeling about it. So you just have to trust yourself, and you just have to know that keep going, stay in the zone, stay in focus, and don't give up, because everything's working for you. It's all working in the best way possible. All right, this is just a short one for today. I did get it out there because I want you guys to know, because it's just something that I've been focusing on and something that's been really important to me to remind myself every day that it's going to work for you. You're going to be able to stay on track as long as you can do that, and you can get the negativity on yourself. Like, that's another thing, right? That's why your environment is so important, because you have to be able to surround yourself with people that continue to encourage you to keep going and not give up. That's what separates you, again, from the successful and the unsuccessful. Keep your environment strong. Keep the people that are important to you close, because they're all going to help you grow. They're going to help you continue to stay on path. That's what you need in your life. You need those kind of people. So I just need you to focus, stay on track, stay in the zone, don't give up, surround yourself with the right people, and you guys are going to make it. All right, that's all I got.